Mind your way.
You're fine.
It doesn't get any better than this. We want to thank the Grand Forks City Band for their sharing their talents with us today. So thank you so much. Good morning and welcome to today's Memorial Day ceremony. I'm Michael Brown, Commander of American Legion Post 6 in Grand Forks. We're pleased to have you join us in memory of the men and women who in service to our nation secured the freedoms we enjoy today. Every year there are 3 official days that recognize the veteran soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine. The first is Armed Forces Day, when those in uniform and serving on active duty and those in defense of our country are recognized. The second is Veterans Day, when those who have separated from service or retired, having since hung up their uniforms, are duly recognized. And lastly is Memorial Day, when those who were never able to hang up their uniforms are remembered for their ultimate sacrifice in their country's service. As we gather as a community of varied backgrounds and cultures, today's ceremony also consists of volunteers from your Grand Forks American Legion Post 6 and Grand Forks American Legion Auxiliary. Our guest speaker this morning is the distinguished adjutant, Erica Clausen-Musali. We appreciate the valued ceremonial assistance of the Grand Forks Air Force Base Honor Guard, which is behind me, the support from Popper's Music by providing our sound system, the music of the Grand Forks All-City Band that's conducted by Mr. Don Langley, Mr. Herb Thompson for signaling taps, and Corey Wenzel, Joe Bowen, Sidney Mook, and Pam Knutson from the Grand Forks Herald for providing media coverage. As always, kudos to Mr. Robin Purcell for especially preparing the cemetery for today's ceremony. Please rise for the presentations of the colors and the playing of our national anthem and our invocation by our Grand Forks American Legion Post 6 Chaplain Paul Robinette. Detail, present the colors. Almighty God, we thank Thee for the opportunities which abide in our land, for Thy guidance in the hour of peril and Thy tender love in times of need. Help us to remember with reverence the valor and devotion of our departed comrades whose bodies rest here. May we also remember those beyond the seas and those whose resting places will not be known until the last day when the deep will have given up its dead. Teach us to honor them by ever cherishing the ideals for which they fought. Keep us steadfast in the cause of human rights and liberties, of law and order and true Americanism. Give us the power to see and the will to do the right. Keep us forever firm in righteousness, humble of heart, and unselfish in purpose. Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Robinette. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Junior American Legion Auxiliary Member, Unit 6, Alexis Kramer, please share with us the readings of In Flanders Field and In Flanders Field and Answer. Alexis?
In Flanders Field the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks so bravely singing fly scarce amid the guns below. We are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to take you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep through poppies grow in Flanders Field. In Flanders Field the cannons boom, and fitful flashes light the gloom, while up above the eagles fly, the fierce destroyers of the sky. What stains the earth wherein you lie is redder than the poppy bloom in Flanders Field. Sleep on, you brave, the shrieking shell, the quaking trench, the startling yell. The fury of the battle hell shall wake you not, for all is well. Sleep peacefully, for all is well. A flaming torch aloft we bear, with burning heart and oath we swear, to keep the faith, to fight it through, to crush the foe, or sleep with you in Flanders Field.
Thank you, Alexis. Mr. Jake Gunderson, please issue General Logan's Memorial Day orders.
General Logan's Memorial Day orders, Headquarters, Grand Army of the Republic, Washington, D.C., May 5, 1868. General Orders number 11. The 30th of May, 1868 is designated for the purpose of strewing flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in the defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observance, no form or ceremony is prescribed, but posts and comrades will, in their own way, arrange such fitting services and testimonials of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. We can aid more to assure this result than by cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foes. Their soldier lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, and their deaths a tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the consecrated wealth and taste of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of her slain defenders. Let no wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant vandalism of avarice, let pheasant pats invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, no ravages of time, testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull and other hands slack, and other hearts cold in solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remain in us. Let us then at the time appointed gather around their sacred remains and garland the passionless mounds above them with choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in this solemn presence renew our pledges to aid and assist those whom they have left among us as a sacred charge upon the nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with the hope that it will be kept up from year to year while the survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to call attention to this order, and lend its friendly aid in bringing it to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for simultaneous compliance therewith. The department commanders will use every effort to make this order effective. By command of John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Gunderson. Please remain standing as we reflect on the sacrifices by the men and women during the past wars and conflicts. Joan Smith and Jackie Sadler will present each reading. The Grand Army of the Republic, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Grenada, Lebanon, Panama, Persian Gulf War, Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts, the global war on terror, and all who perished on land, sea, or air. Thank you. Miss Deb Moriarty will now cast the wreaths upon the waters. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Auxiliary Member Diane Knopf, please share with us the reading of Cover Them Over as Diane Kramer and Abigail Kramer distribute the poppies. Diane.
Thank you, Commander. This morning I'm going to read a poem that was written in the late 1800s by Will Carleton, and again cover them over with beautiful flowers. Cover them over with beautiful flowers, deck them with garlands, those brothers of ours, lying so silent by night and by day, sleeping the years of their manhood away. Give them the meed that they have won in the past, give them the honors their future forecast. Give them the chaplets they won in the strife, give them the laurels they lost with their life. Cover them over, yes, cover them over, parent and husband, brother and lover. Crown in your hearts these dead heroes of ours, cover them over with beautiful flowers. Cover the hearts that have beaten so high, beaten with hope that were doomed but to die. Hearts that have burned in the heat of the fray, hearts that have yearned for the home far away. Once they were glowing and with friendship and love, now their great souls have gone soaring above. Bravely their blood to the nation they gave, then in her bosom they found them a grave. Cover the thousands who sleep far away, sleep where their friends and family cannot find them today. They who in mountain and hillside and dell, rest where they wearied and lie where they fell. Softly the grass blades creep round their repose, sweetly above them the wild floweret blows. Zephyrs of freedom fly gently overhead, whispering prayers for the patriots dead. When the long years have rolled slowly away into the dawn of earth's funeral day, when at the angels' loud trumpet and tread rise up the faces and forms of the dead. When the great world its last judgment awaits, when the blue skies shall fling open its gates, and our long columns march silently through, past the great captain for final review. Blessings for garland shall cover them over, parent and husband, brother and lover. God will reward these dead heroes of ours, cover them over with beautiful flowers. Thank you.
So thank you, Diane. Now our own adjutant Erica Klaus Numsali will present our Memorial Day address. Erica Klaus Numsali has served our country for over 28 years. She's held various logistic positions while serving on active duty with the U.S. Air Force, including commissary specialist, sports director for fitness centers, and managing dining facility operations. Erica has also many deployments under her belt: Guantanamo Bay, Cuba; Rhein-Main Air Force Base, Germany; Ali Al Salam, Kuwait; Misawa Air Force Base, Japan; Eskin Village, Saudi Arabia; and Al Udeid Air Force Base in Qatar. She was selected to work at the Grand Forks Air Force Base Readiness Section to train military members before their deployments. After 21 years of service, Erica retired from the enlisted ranks and transferred to government civil service, where today she still performs as a member of the Grand Forks Air Force Base Commander's support staff. Erica is still active in multiple veteran organizations to include the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, 40/8 American Veterans, and she still makes time for the community organizations, Arts for Vets, and Love in Action. Erica.
30 years ago, America engaged in a new war in volatile region. Iraq had invaded the sovereign nation of Kuwait. It was an act of aggression that could not stand. The United States led a coalition of 35 nations with a bold and clear mission to liberate an occupied country. Among the 500,000 U.S. troops deployed to the Middle East was Army Specialist Cindy Godwin, a freshman at the University of Connecticut. Specialist Godwin enlisted in the National Guard and served as a medic with the 142nd Medical Group. The Hartford Courant newspaper from her hometown reported that the young specialist had a chronic back condition that could have kept her from during the deployment. The daughter of a Vietnam veteran, Cindy would hear none of it. Of course I'm going, silly. I couldn't let my best buddy go alone, she told a fellow friend and service member. On February 28, 1991, just hours after President George H.W. Bush declared a ceasefire to end the Gulf War, Specialist Cindy Godwin was killed in action after her convoy struck a landmine. She was only 19. Like many soldiers going to war, Specialist Godwin wrote a letter to be delivered to her parents in the event that she did return. I did not come here to be a hero, she wrote. I came here because my country needed me to be here. As much as I hate being so far away from home, I am here with thousands of other soldiers helping to bring down a very deranged tyrant. If I should die while helping to achieve this, then I did not die in vain. Cindy Godwin did not die in vain, and neither did any of our other Americans who we honor on Memorial Day. Nonetheless, wars are often unpopular. There's a good reason for this. It was Union General William T. Sherman who said, "It is only those who have neither fired a shot nor heard the shrieks and groans of the wounded who cry aloud for blood. More vengeance, more desolation. War is hell." But we should always remember that the decisions led to war are those of policymakers, not the veterans themselves. Sometimes the mission is clear-cut. In World War II, millions were liberated and truly evil regimes were toppled. The price can still be unbelievably painful, as Willie and Emma Labrecht experienced. The Jewish couple fled Nazi Germany for New York City with their two young sons, Ferdinand, known also as Ferdy, and Alfred in 1938. 7 years later, the brothers enlisted in the army and made the supreme sacrifice for their new country while fighting the Germans in Europe. Ferdy was killed by a sniper bullet after he was trying to save 5 wounded soldiers. Their parents tried to get Alfred to come back home, but Alfred was killed 3 weeks later. Alan Kahn, cousin of the brothers, said, to escape from Germany and then having their only 2 children go back and die in Germany fighting against the Nazis, that's just a tragedy. In his book, Brothers in Arms, author Kevin Callahan noted, the memory of those 2 brave brothers who escaped Nazi Germany, only to perish in its destruction, lives on. And that is why we are here today, to recall not just the memories of Sidney Bodwin and the Laborish brothers, but to honor the sacrifices made by the 1 million heroes who have died while defending this country since the American Revolution. And that sacrifice is painfully shared by the Gold Star families and close friends of these heroes. Most of us will not truly understand the depths of their despair unless we have experienced it. But we can always offer our support. We can wear the poppy. We can place flags and wreaths at their graves. We can donate to charities that provide for their families. And we can look at their surviving brothers and sisters in arms and say, thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. Our organization, the American Legion, recognizes that when rounds are coming, there is no such thing as a small war. More than 1,600 Americans have lost their lives fighting in the covert operations and Cold War battles that occurred between the designated war periods since the attack on Pearl Harbor. We honor their sacrifices as much as we honor those lost on Iwo Jima and the frozen Chosin. For 100 years, the preamble of the Constitution of the American Legion stated that our commitment to preserve the memories and incidences of our associations in the Great War, and later, the Great Wars. This wording was a natural outcome for an organization that was founded by World War I veterans and succeeded by equally committed World War II veterans. In 2019, we changed our preamble yet again. We now promise to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars. We are here today to honor all our fallen heroes who died in Fallujah and the Philippines, Quezon and Kandahar, and Beirut and Grenada, just to name a few locations. We honor American heroes from the American Revolution through the global war on terrorism and every battle in between. The location is unimportant. It is the hearts of these men and women that truly matter. It is the devotion within that led them to sacrifice their lives for the country that we all love. It is hard for us, the living, to equate ourselves with those who made such a sacrifice. The surviving loved ones do not have to look very far to find their heroes. As Specialist Bodwin wrote to her parents, when you start to miss me, look into your hearts and you will find me. We should all look into our hearts. We may not only find our heroes, but we can examine what type of country we live in. No matter what critics can say about America, can a nation that produces such remarkable men and women be anything but a force of good? Can we do more to create a country that is worthy of such sacrifice? Can we insist that our policymakers always consider the true cost of their decisions and only send men and women to war when all other options have been fully considered? War is often not the best policy, but the heroes that wars produce are the best in America. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Erica, for those words that reinforce why we're taking times out of our busy lives today to pause and reflect and say thank you for the people that made sacrifices.
Party! Attention!